All right, I'm looking at this.
That's really great.
Okay, we're live.
Alright.
Well, yeah. So we're gonna go like right here in the corner.
Or I'll flip by the TV now.
Yeah, this would be probably better.
Oh. Come on, guys. I don't even know if anyone's here. Excuse me, guys. Grab pizza, please. I guess we're just like waiting for people, and maybe it'll be a really small meeting and really sad. But hopefully we can answer particular questions. Nobody wants pizza?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know.
So what?
I said jump in.
Yeah. Cheese pizza. Okay, Julius, grab pizza.
Yes, mother. Yes, mother. Joe's pizza is the best pizza in New York.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And as struggling grad students, we appreciate it.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. People are showing up.
Seattle Seahawks. 12 minutes here.
Hi.
12 minutes. We have all of my love.
What?
Seahawks?
Yeah.
Good.
Team of Destiny.
Oh my god.
Good. How are you?
That's nice too. Good.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. That's the idea.
Oh, I see. Wait, here. That gives me hope. Hi. Why are you here? You're starting. Oh, wow. That's crazy. That's great.
Annie wants to get into it.
Oh, thank you. This is like, I haven't been around class did that.
What?
Like early.
Like,
One other person is doing it. Okay. Oh, from our class. This is my class.
Yeah.
Michael has already shot his thesis. Yeah.
Oh my god. Wow. You guys are on top of it.
Thought you were bringing rum.
See that water bottle?
Oh. He did. He brought rum.
Oh, what?
Now we're talking.
I came to the right intro. That was a couple of
Chill.
I almost
like your beard, action.
Yes.
I'm
Okay.
Yeah, some of the sippy cups from the. Huh? No, yeah, Coke.
Get in there. Oh.
Hey.
Hey, John.
Hey.
How you doing?
How you doing? Yeah. Happy New Year.
And Ben, we brought this. How'd you know? My favorite.
Oh, he's cupping it up.
Yes. Yes. Tap the bottle.
That's awesome. That's awesome, yeah.
Dive right into that. Who knew it would be so easy?
Yeah.
No, she let people eat. We'll get to it.
Yeah, John. It is good pizza, right?
Which one's got anchovies?
I
The
didn't get
best.
any anchovies.
Oh.
No, anchovies.
We actually had a guy in Cape Town.
I love it, man. You worked hard. You deserve it, bro. You got it on the phone. What's the next one? This is the biggest jerky off since 1994. What was that?
Huh?
What was the album that Sir Mix-a-Lot dropped in? She's moved on her, I believe. Some o'clock was the other two. He was pumping out his yeah like an 84. Y'all just need basketball, man. Man, I've already apologized to him for Mark. Yeah. I think he should have swept everything. Over the
What's the spread on this?
I don't know. I'm Seahawks all the way. It's a good question. I should look that up.
Like today was crazy on this floor. Am I crazy?
People were making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
People were like,
Insane.
yeah.
What happened?
And Laura was like, I have no idea when any of my classes are. And like, there's so many resources to tell you when your classes are. I don't know what to
Like the wiki?
everything. Like, there's so many different ways to find out.
I just go to the wiki for everything now.
Oh my god. The wiki or the drive?
The wiki is like Siri.
I thought they were the same thing at one point. I thought the wiki and the drive was the same thing.
There's like all the labs were occupied.
I'm like, what more do you want from me?
Anchovies and
Full house.
Yeah, it was really busy.
What?
What?
nothing.
You being smart?
Nah, not at all.
Sassy?
A little bit. A little bit maybe. I don't know.
I didn't see you had rum with you.
Would you like to partake
Later.
in some of the rum?
Oh, shit, wrong.
I thought it was a water bottle.
Oh no!
No.
The rum is to partake.
Wrong.
Rum.
Puerto Rican wrong.
Bacardi. Only the best.
Yeah. Only the finest for drive.
Rum? Sure.
Do you mind? It's been a long day.
My private stuff.
Offer.
Yeah, don't do that.
You opened up the door.
Live stream?
There. Who's live stream? Who's live stream?
Breaking the marriage.
Greg was like, oh,
What did you say to us?
get a cup. Oh, you got a cup. Oh, yeah, that's your second one.
No.
Ice cream.
Right.
You were able to close the gate in there.
Make some dark. That's our brain.
Rum?
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
He's the designated
I
driver.
don't play that game.
On here right in front of the camera.
He's the designated driver.
You have returned. That's funny. We were in the tent. We were in tent 27.
Oh, very lonely in there.
You guys are really sick.
Oh,
The
wait,
two
wait,
of us, I
wait.
think.
Ladies and
No one
gentlemen.
cares about the
Director
thesis
Lincoln,
anymore.
Alex Rocco.
No one gives a damn
Yeah.
about thesis.
Don't take my spot.
John, I don't come home.
Found
How was Sunday? Yeah? Great. Thank you.
The two most eloquent ladies are
I don't know how I got here.
I am sitting right here.
Just call Scott.
Right.
I wasn't telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that I now like
This is thesis level drinking, right?
Yeah.
I just, no.
and everyone else is Sarah's getting
Not first year drinking.
No, not at all.
I
The
thought
first years
you
this year were all
Yeah.
scary too. They weren't trying to get the party cracked.
Rum in a plastic cup. Kind of fun.
Julius's pocket.
Yeah, sorry, I was actually waiting.
Who's to say?
You're supposed to be a classroom or something.
I just like to spread the love.
I love you, sir. You just complain about it. No one knows what a class is.
We're supposed to be a class. That's what Alice told me. I couldn't have the room because there's a class. Oh no, there's a screening or something.
Screen.
You know,
Yeah.
something's going on in there.
And actually, it ends up being all cozier this way, doesn't it?
That,
Although it means that Miranda's just going to have to repeat this 1,000 times to every thesis. Oh, you are? Okay.
Look around, lady.
it's like, ah, yeah.
How's everybody doing? Well, I'm actually starting to recognize thesis students. It's freaking me out.
Yeah.
It's weird, right?
I'm getting old. For sure. Get back on the court. That's what you like.
Yeah.
Running.
How's everything going? That's good pizza.
You know what, try.
It's no pizza Macao, but it's up there.
Is there the streaming yet?
7.
Really?
If only
After
they
they tell
could
us.
stream back. Might get this stream back. That would be nice. They could text items in there. They're all gonna log off.
So which-
I know, right?
Chris was there. Yeah, did you see the races, the Kaepernick one? Oh my God, that's the worst year.
Yeah, that's good that Sherman has one now.
The guy who
produces those markups from like 86. Well, not like, I think it's just on the ad. Who's the guy who came up with that ad? Yeah, for all those, like the KG ones. Yeah, they got a lot of clients. They're all over it. Yeah. The Kaepernick
Nobody's
one has
answering, right?
Seahawks fans in it. Like, they don't say Seahawks fans, but they're all wearing like neon green. Oh, and they're like throwing stuff. Yeah. Oh, that's a great commercial. I hate that commercial.
Yeah,
so
it's
funny. No, it's only great because they fucking lost, man.
Yeah.
It's so much. It has so much vindication behind it. Now. It's making the rounds for a while. Like he did show. Yeah. I didn't. I missed it. Like it's dropped. I missed it. I wanted to. Never got it. I don't know. That prize. I'm sure you've seen his Instagram. Like,
Yeah.
That was great. I mean, I'm sure you know. Bleacher Report. It's a little doctored up, but
Jim
it's helpful. Pretty good.
Jim is one because he's looked the same for 30 years. Like, same white hair, same everything. Jim Jones.
He's an alien.
Hello.
Hey, there she is. She's the 4th-year rep, right?
Am I
Yeah.
Hey! Congratulations.
Hey, so the last person to walk in gets 4th year rep.
Yeah. Boy,
Wow.
how many emails do I have to send out? Like, I even tried tricky emails, like weird coded emails.
Have you accepted the position?
No, get more pizza.
We have the retreats like next week, right?
I'm gonna be that person.
Try it out, see how it feels.
Try it.
Try it out.
You guys got a semester
We're
of
around
being
for a
4th year
while.
rep. 1 semester being 4th year rep, 2 dinners.
That's true. That is very
It basically pays for itself.
2 karaoke parties.
1
Oh,
karaoke
you're gonna be at
party,
the
One a year.
but 2 dinners.
No. What?
I'm good. How
As
you
many
doing?
drinks as you can drink.
Complete access to the 10th floor.
How you doing, man?
An
Is that
email.
what
How are you?
you're chasing me up?
Pretty good.
Because I haven't accepted.
Fried, burning.
I'm not a rep.
You get an official NYU email.
Who's not?
Burning
Are you serious?
places.
As opposed to the unofficial.
Yeah.
Thanks for eating.
Alex, have I seen you since I hung out with your buddy Phil?
Oh yeah,
I
Bill.
don't think I have.
He's a character. He's a
He
caveman.
sure is. He is a caveman.
Yeah. And you shot his daughter's movie. That's great.
With him at the monitor the entire time.
Grumbling over. He's a character.
Yep.
All right, Miranda, are you ready to get started?
He likes you a lot.
I like him a lot.
Okay. I'm gonna start and then you can go.
Oh yeah.
Fair enough?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
But I have
Don't lean
very
back
little
too
extra.
much. Don't lean back too much.
Not.
Is that a camera?
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, hi to everybody who's on the stream.
Yeah.
And do we know who?
I still don't know who they are.
We don't know who they are, but we would like to know who's out there.
Yeah, Katrina, can you see on the little like
people in
list
TV
if
land.
anybody responded to my
Mancy Pants is there.
Who?
Nancy comment?
Oh,
Nancy.
Did Charles mention?
Charles came up here
Okay. Anybody else?
I know Greg is.
There, the things that are coming up don't sound. Yeah, it's just Nancy.
today. Nancy. Hey, Nancy. Okay, so let's start by just going around the room because a lot of people, they're from different years and not everybody knows everybody. In fact, I'm sure everybody doesn't know everybody. So let's just go around the room and introduce yourself and what year you are and just where you're at with the thesis, just so that everybody can kind of get a sense of take it away.
Sure. I'm Annie. I'm a third year, and I'm working on a doc feature that hopefully we'll be shooting starting next week.
Starting when?
Wow.
Wow.
What's it?
Exciting.
Tell people a little bit about
So it's about a guy from Southeast DC who does falconry with inner city kids, and a group of kids who dropped out of high school who are in a National Guard Academy, and he's going to lead them through their community service portion of the program and teach them raptor education.
Has anyone seen any of it? Anyone seen any of it? It's fascinating. It's amazing footage you had for your presentation. Great
and your
stuff.
characters, right?
He's just a great guy. Who's that? Who is he going to be the lead of the documentary? What's his name?
Ron?
Great guy. Great character.
I'm Katrina. I'm a fourth year,
Rep.
newly elected fourth year rep. I'm still working on a feature script, although I've just written a short that I'm thinking I could shoot next fall. That would be very exciting for my thesis. So that's where I am in the process.
Is it related to the feature?
Only in location. It's set in Wyoming.
Nothing to do with the fracking thing and the
Nope. Nope, it's dove hunting. Families dove hunting over the course of a weekend, and siblings screwing with each other.
Well, so far we've got raptor, we've got falcon, love, and dove.
Dove eating. So yeah.
What do you got?
I'm Jeremy. I am not entirely sure what year I am at this point. I'm gonna estimate something around 7th year. But I've decided that I need to make it happen this semester. So I've actually got a couple of short scripts that I'm kind of deciding between, but also thinking about expanding one of them into a very consolidated, producible feature. Is what I'm kind of toying with now, but I'm not dead set on that. It's what I would like to do, but either way, I just feel like I need to make it happen this semester.
I'm Ben. I'm a fourth year. I got this email this morning, and I realized I don't know anything about what I'm supposed to be doing in order to graduate at some point. So I came to find out.
Great.
And yeah, that's my story.
Way to go, Ben.
To be
Way to
honest
bring
about
us
it.
down.
Honesty.
That makes my heart warm. You read an email and you came to it fake.
I'm Jerome. I'm a fifth year, and I'm scheduled to shoot this summer. We'll see what happens.
What's the project?
It's about a mushroom trip. A bunch of guys go to a beach, do mushrooms, and strokes.
I'm Julius. I'm a fourth year. I'm a pre-production, which means I'm writing. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
What's the project?
I have a short idea and a feature idea, and they're both competing with whichever one gets done first in my interest. The short is about a group of friends who reconnect at a funeral. It's a comedy, and then the feature idea is like a loose idea, basically, of a guy who works at a fast food restaurant and wants to escape that and move to France. So it's kind of like a comedy again. Weird that is. The feature one is more of a character right now. It's not really a full story. So that's. But I'm planning to have drafts at the end of April, so I can get into like pre-production and shooting from next fall.
I'm Brooke. I'm working on my thesis feature film, and I made a short film in the third year, and this is the one I'm developing as a feature, and I'm on my fourth draft, and I call it development stage, and we're looking for money as well at the same time.
Which one is that? Which one is that?
The one in your
Oh,
class.
great.
Yeah.
Great. That'd be
So I
really
have a
cool.
fourth draft to show you guys.
That'd be a really cool feature.
I'm following like 3 different apartments, burnout, like it's like page 56, you know, so it's
Yeah.
all about. And then murder is only rational effects. So you don't see the murder.
Well, you know, I mean, her, just briefly, yours was about a true incident, right?
Yeah.
Where people heard someone being murdered
Yeah, so I
and
spent
they,
time,
in their apartment and never did anything.
and I spent time in Kew Garden screens what happened, and I mean, the different commercial kind of thing in the windows, but there's an old Art Deco cinema, and like the old parking lot is the same, so you can totally like make it 64 or 62 pace, and then other stuff is inside, and then I have to.
And are you thinking of taking your short, making it, using
No.
pieces of it?
Not at all.
I think that's an interesting idea, by the way, just for
The
people.
old lady in the shot, she's in it, but it's gonna be like more developed character. So the guy, when I shot the shot, he was 8, 9 years old.
Okay.
So I don't dare to use
But
it.
you don't make the call, right?
I'm gonna kill him with it.
Okay.
I'm Eunice, I'm fifth year. So I am writing, I have finished the first draft of my script that I want to shoot for thesis, and it's based on the Tibetan community living in exile in India, and it's seen through the eyes of 2 kids who escaped from Tibet. And the elder one actually, has this sense of like, growing despair that, the only way for them to go back to go home is working to set out the fire, together with the rest who have been doing it because, that's the only way to, get the issue out there. And then the sister his younger sister will have to make a choice whether to follow the brother's footstep or to, not to have hope and, continue living. And this is, in some ways, their lives are intertwined with like an American lady who goes there and after losing her entire family in an accident. And she herself, also in the process of through that realize she's not alone in the despair, sort of find a second chance in life.
And it's in the script stage, is it in the outline stage, or is it kind of?
I've finished writing it, like sort of like finishing touch to it, and so I'm gonna workshop that with May.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And I am leaving to do some sort of more research to make it the second script better. Visiting the locations and looking at what are possibilities in India itself next month. And then with that, I have a better idea to present to the community. And then I'm targeting to shoot that sometime in autumn. And because I'm an international student, I would have to ask for an extension, and I've worked that out with Miranda how I can go about doing that. And yeah, the process of coming along.
I'm Anastasia Frank. I'm a 5th year. Are we 5th year? Okay. I've been cutting, nonstop, and I'm thinking of shooting something too. So that's where I'm at.
Any ideas about the things you've actually been doing? Like, what are they about? What are you cutting? Yeah.
Oh, I got to cut
Share
Shreya's
with these guys.
production design collaboration. It's very fun. And I've been just finished yesterday the score for Gavin Rantor's thesis, who's a Singapore Tisch student of community of stories in Guyana, which was cool to go to record stuff down in Cape Town.
Great. Cool.
And I'm really proud of that actually. So, and then actually got to work with Annie too, so it's been a very good year of a lot of editing.
And has anybody, because I know you've been doing editing and you've been doing producing,
Yeah.
And you've been shooting. Is there anybody, and Ben, you shoot, is there anybody thinking of graduating as a cinematographer, producer, or editor? Is that even like part of the conversation?
It's in the back.
Back.
We'll see.
Okay.
Financial restraints.
But you guys are going to direct.
I'd like to direct one more thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to do
I'll go through that whole thing. Do you want to jump in? Or?
Well, I would just say just really quickly to these guys that, just.
By the way, Alex is the head of thesis study.
Yes, and this has been, the fall has been kind of lame, and that's partly because we didn't have the fourth. Katrina's been so hard to get.
That
we don't-
shouldn't
yeah.
factor into
I'm
that.
not
I just
blaming you,
figured
please, let me just blame you, take
No,
it like a.
She's the one.
She's
Yeah,
just a
but
little,
before.
well, that's what I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
there was a
Now
void,
that-
there was a void that's been filled. And then Charles has been busy, and I've been busy. But really what happens with it was really nice just going around the table and talking about ideas, because as you guys talk about them, this is really my second year, right? And basically what I'm realizing is that this really serves best as to help you guys. If you have a couple of scenes you'd like to read out loud and you're rewriting them, or if you want to just talk about making a short versus a feature, or making a short and expanding it into a feature. You know, if you have ideas like that, I think this is just like a forum for all of you guys to talk about it. We also will get writing teachers in, kind of like do writing workshops. It's kind of a thing where, like, you know, you get lost in space in your thesis years potentially, and we want to corral the energy and have everybody help each other, not just have a person standing up. We'll have people guests, but we really want you guys to help each other and discuss ideas. You know, whether you make a feature, how you get a feature out. We'll talk about distribution. We'll talk about getting together and like what's the easiest, you know, approach. I'll throw in my 2 cents, and we'll have guests coming in and talking about it. But the more people I know, it's kind of helpful, because I think that sometimes you just need a forum. You need a place to maybe get a few actors, read it out loud, screen some footage, just talk about how to get it together and what's the right angle, because there's a lot of different ways to skin the thesis cat, you know. There's a lot of different ways to go about it, and there's a lot of pressure to make features sometimes if you're not ready. Maybe there's stages to the feature. Make a good short that could be, you know, in your case you kind of developed an idea in a way that now you saw there's a feature in that, and I think it's a really interesting idea. So we can share these kind of ideas, and we'll have topics on these Thesis Thursdays. Usually we try to have a guest, someone who's either an actor or someone who's in the business, and then after that we open it up to maybe a short reading or a discussion, or we'll show clips. But I'd like it to be for you guys. So suggestions too, or, you know, Katrina, if you can like filter, you know, people throw suggestions at you, like what would be useful to them. You know, and if a writing workshop would be useful, let's do it. If screening some footage would be useful, we got Shaka in last year. That was a great one. Granger and Shaka, and who else came to that one? There's a few people who've done different things. Some have made features, some have made successful shorts, and they all just talked about what life after, you know, having made their thesis, what happened, where's it going. And Shaka just finished his, so that was great to see his at that stage. So we'll do another one like that. I'll probably get some people who just finished up and have them come in and talk. But I want it to be productive, and I want it to be energized. I want it to be something you guys want to come to, other than just, you know, Miranda and the pizza. Because you're the draw. She's the draw.
Miranda.
Okay, but the pizza, you know. But you know, so whatever the suggestions are that could be useful for you, and if I can be of any help, like I'm there. But it's really a form to keep it moving, keep the momentum. I think that's pretty much covers it.
All right, good. And jump in at any point. I'm gonna go through this.
Great.
He wants you to jump in. I'm still.
Really?
I'm
Did you?
still.
I don't have anything, but if I will feel free to jump in.
All right, good.
If I have something.
Okay, so I'm gonna what I want to do is just kind of go through the process, because I know we've all heard it many times. But this is a bunch of information. It really only makes sense when you're ready to hear it. So if you're ready to hear it, get out your pen. But also, I just want to say that because we're in the process right now of looking at the stuff for the First Run Festival this year, and I always like to look at this stuff in order. Like I look, you know, because second year films, third year films, and thesis films are eligible in the First Run Festival, and I always really like to watch them that way. And I watched all the second year films, mostly from last year, that were entered in the festival this year, and there's a lot of really good stuff. And the third year films, which are really great, and then you get to the thesis films, and they're just wonderful, you know. And I think it goes this way every year, which I'm always happy to watch the second year films, you know. And then by the time you get to the third year, to the thesis films, it's really astounding, you know, to me, just to see how people develop through this program and get to that level and make really just wonderful art, really accomplished stuff. So the thesis is the most exciting, you know, stuff. And then also just being out at Sundance. I was at Sundance last week, and you know, and seeing Desi out there with her. I mean, and that's extraordinary when Shaka does that, or Desi, or somebody like just hits it out of the park like that, does a feature and has that kind of, you know, pulls it off that way and has that kind of success and luck with it. but it's a really it's a really good film, and it's a lot like all the thesis films that I'm watching right now for the festival. It's a longer version of it, but it's got that same kind of integrity, honesty, kind of steady hand. So anyhow, it's very encouraging. And also out there, I know Vache has already graduated, but he was out there, and Carolini is in the creative producers lab, and Spencer and Jimmy Lee. Well, Jeremy, you know some of those cats, and they're all out there developing Vache's features. So there's another part of this that the thesis, and just beyond the thesis, the support that we get. The Sundance Labs loves our students. IFP loves our students. Berlinale loves our students. There's all these conversations as you guys get to that point, and you're ready to put stuff out in the world. There's a lot of support and there's a lot of interest for people that are coming out of this program out in the world. So
It's true in Berlin. Berlin's shocking.
we're all over.
Tons of films.
God, that's like a reunion.
Yeah.
Berlin is here, and same with South by. Sundance always is, but this year Berlin and South by and all these. I mean, it's really great. In Claremont, we're going to have a whole bunch of folks out at Claremont this year.
And I've actually talked to programmers that have just done, I don't know anything. I've talked to programmers who said that they actually look forward to NYU films. They really are always like, wow, that's, they feel that it's real quality. So that's really nice to hear.
Yeah. But that's good to know. Like as you go out, it's like this is, be bold. People are really looking for it. Okay, so here's the process. Thesis process. To graduate from the graduate film program, you need to have earned 108 points. Okay, so 36 points a year for 3 years. So when you're even starting to think about graduating, one thing you want to do is you want to get in touch with Miranda, and you want to do what do you call it, an audit?
Yeah, we can do it together, or you can go on your unofficial transcript or like a couple different places on your student account and find out how many credits you have. You can also request a transcript from the university, and they'll let you know exactly what you have. You'll see a thing called AHRS, accumulated hours, and EHRS, earned hours. Those can be different. You can have accumulated a number of 108 points, but only be graded for 100 of them. And that 100 is the only thing that counts. So you should check your accounts and make sure that you've been graded and make sure that you are registered properly. And I would do that as soon as possible because you've all already been done. You're at the point where you can see whether or not you have 108, and the sooner you figure it out, the better. Because sometimes it takes a really long time to get that stuff reconciled, and you don't want your graduation to be held up by it.
And mostly what happens is either you got an incomplete. The things that can be complicated is that for some reason there was some goof up and you didn't actually register for 18 points in a semester, even though you thought you had registered for and you attended the classes, but maybe something was funky in your registration and you were actually attending a class that you weren't registered for, so you don't have the credits, or you got an incomplete in some class and you haven't cleaned that up. So those are the things that you want to just take care of. And it does take a little bit of time to do that, so you got to get on.
And depending, if it was a third year class and you're a fourth year right now, not such a big deal. They're probably still here, but we're dealing with 6-year students right now who
John Goodman's class.
Yeah, and now that person's he's not a teacher here anymore. He doesn't really have any reason to be in touch, and he's just like, bye, I'm out. So that's why I'm saying, really look at it, and then once it's done, it's done. Just get them done.
Yeah. So clean that up. Okay, so that's number one. You need 108 points. And then on top of the 108 points, you need to do a thesis. So the thesis comes in a few different flavors. There's either...
No,
Oh, okay. So most of you are thinking about graduating with having directed a movie. Okay, so we'll get to that later. The other options are graduating as a director of photography, an editor, or producer. And the faculty, the curriculum committee, just spent the whole semester revising and unifying all those requirements. And We're going to present that to the faculty at the retreat and for ratification, and we've also already presented it to the administration. It's going to change things just a little bit, in kind of some technical ways. But you'll be able to see those guidelines. You can go on the wiki now, the drive now, and see what the guidelines are for graduating as a DP, a producer, or as an editor. And those are guidelines. They're not hard and fast rules, but they are kind of like what the basic idea is about a body of work. And what it is it's accumulating a body of work, taking the advanced classes, and then maybe there's some other stuff that they want you to do. But just go on the drive and look at those requirements. And the most important thing is if you think you're going to want to graduate as a DP, a producer, or an editor, the important person for you is that area head, to get in touch with that area head and start working through putting together your docket, your package of work, because that's the person who's going to sign off on it, basically. I'll get to a little bit later about the thesis review committee, but the thesis review committee is going to take their lead from the area head. So for cinematography, it's Tony Ginelli. For producing, it's Peggy Reisky. And for editing, it's Jen Ruff. So you want to get with them right away and just start getting all your ducks in a row. So for directing, it's not necessarily a body of work. It's more well, under the new guidelines, it's either going to be a film that you directed within the program as your thesis, or it's going. I can say this, right? It's going to be okay. Or it's going to be. No, I just want to make sure that. Because we're modifying this a little bit. Or it's going to be an example of your work as a director. And the reason for this is that as you know, risk management is a big deal here. From now on, every movie, every film that's made in the program has got to go through risk management. Okay, all second-year films, third-year films, thesis films have to go through risk management. But there is occasionally a movie that can't go through risk management. For instance, like the first one that came through when we started letting people do features, Carrie Fukunaga's Syndrome. That was like a multi-million-dollar movie done by Focus Features. There's no way that could have gone through risk management at NYU, but yet that was his thesis. He developed it in the program, and he went through pre-thesis review, and it was a thesis. He got a lot of guidance from the faculty. So in a case like that, what would happen is that would be a film that someone would just do off on their own and come back and show us it as an example of their directing. But it wouldn't have gone through the system.
Would they have still been able to use the thesis resources such as the bridge?
No, they're off.
Even though that's something that we needed, but
that's the difference. Is that if you go outside of the university, then you're on your own as far as the production, insurance, and all that stuff. And you come back and you don't show us an NYU film. You show us a film that you made out in the world, and we can say that's an example of your directing, and we can graduate you with that.
Hey John, can I ask you a question on that? If someone were to suppose Carrie didn't use a professional company outside, but he'd done a lower budget as his own, right? But it was, would potentially violated a lot of rules, people on top of trains and whatnot in foreign countries. Do you think that would that be conceivable that someone could do that and then bring it back to NYU, or does it have to be under the umbrella of a larger company?
You know what? Honestly, that there's a way that he could have done that film through risk management, because there was actually no people on top of trains. That was a rig that was riding on a highway next to, in that area. I mean, that was a really safe shoot.
Right.
And the thing that separated Carrie from being able to do that through risk management is that he's doing it with a private company.
Right.
Whereas if you're going through risk management, you have to be doing it as a student. Right. FYI, there's also an attempt right now by some of our producing faculty to create a different way of doing features. For any of you who are interested in doing longer form stuff or bigger stuff, there's an attempt right now to try to figure out a way to buy an insurance policy outside of the university, it would cover those kind of bigger projects. And that may be the way to do it. That's all in the flux right now, but okay, so I'm saying a lot of things, and I'll take questions on that later, but I'm gonna leave it there for now.
You won't take that. You can't take that information out of the room. The whole, we shouldn't take that information out of the room.
Yeah, that's okay. It's all stuff that we're working on. We're working on a whole bunch of different ways. What's going on?
I'm just making that.
Yeah, NSA is.
I don't want no problems.
But since we're talking
No, but
about
that's good.
insurance and equipment, maybe now is the time to talk about what the pre-thesis.
Okay, so now I'm going to go through the process. Okay, so here's the process of thesis, all things thesis. There's a first step that's optional, and it's called a treatment review. And that's a very simple thing where, and the only reason why you would do a treatment review is if you want to reserve the rig for certain dates. Okay? And because you can't actually use equipment until you've gone through a pre-thesis review, but people, especially people with bigger projects or more complicated projects, don't want to wait until the last minute to actually book their equipment, so they want to put a reservation in earlier. So if you're scheming up a thesis and you want to lock in the rig, you do a treatment review, which is just a very simple, like one-page synopsis of your film, and you submit it to the chair's office, and the chair signs off on that. They go, and basically what they're saying is you are a student in good standing, and that this is like a legitimate thesis project. They sign off on it. You take that form to the production center, and it allows you to reserve the gear. You can reserve the gear for like next summer. You know, if you know your dates and you really need those dates, you can do that, and you can put in a reservation. Okay? Everybody who's doing a thesis gets 2 weeks with the thesis rig, which is the thesis rig is basically the same rig as the second year rig, a little bit more bells, a little bit more G&E, but it's the sound package, and it's any camera that we have. So we have the Red Epics, we have the Alexa, we have the 35 Arri, and then anything else we have. The IMAX, exactly. So you have access to any camera that we have in the house at that time, and the Genie and sound. And you also get the allotment to check is $2,300, and you get 2 weeks with it, 2 full weeks with it. Now, if you partner up, like everybody, even if you're graduating as an editor, producer, or DP, you're entitled to that 2 weeks and the $2,300. So people have been partnering up now. So if you're a producer and you're on a project, maybe you're working with a director, or you're a DP or an editor, and you're working with a director, and you guys want to do something longer, you can put your allotments together and you can get, the rig for a longer period of time. And many people are doing that now. And for those of you who are thinking about maybe graduating as DPs, producers, or editors, I really encourage you to use that. I mean, don't waste that. It's a really great thing, and it can help another student, and you can, be part of their film. But it's such a great thing. And so many directing students are just trying to find somebody to come onto their project to share, to do along the film thing. So I would just say, don't graduate without having taken advantage of that. You're owed it, and you can use it.
Can we talk about the relationship between treatment review and pre-thesis review?
Yes, that's the next thing. Yeah. So that's treatment review. Treatment review just allows you to reserve the equipment. It doesn't allow you to actually use it. To actually use the equipment and get insurance and all that, you have to go through pre-thesis review. Pre-thesis review is you come before a committee, a standing committee of faculty. There's usually about 4 people on that committee. There's a director, a writer, a producer, and a cinematographer usually. And they meet approximately once a month during the academic year. Only during the academic year, not in the summer. So if your thesis is going to be in the summer or right at the beginning of the fall semester, you've got to do your pre-thesis review at the end of the spring, because they're not going to meet in the summer. There's no way to get the committee together. So when you come in front of that committee, you're going to present to them three things. In most cases, you're going to present three things if you're a directing student: your script, your budget, and your schedule. Okay, and you should have your budget and your schedule in Movie Magic because Bob makes it. If you don't. So be a professional. Your script should be in Final Draft, budget and schedule in Movie Magic, and you come to that committee, and that committee is meant to just kind of like do a once over with you, maybe give you some notes because there's going to be writing and directing teachers in there. There's going to be a cinematography teacher in there to give you some advice, and producing teacher to look over your budget and schedule, and just it's supposed to be a very helpful committee. It's not like a green light committee. But if there's something really wrong with your project, they may tell you like, look, go back. You really need to do some work, or you need to get the rights to something, or you need to do something. So they may give you that kind of stuff. But they're meant to be helpful. So my advice to you is you want to schedule that meeting about 4 to 6 weeks before you're ready to shoot. That's the sweet time to do it. If you go in much earlier than that, you're probably still writing and still figuring out locations, and your paperwork isn't going to be that meaningful for them to look at. And if you go in too late, if you go in like the week before you're shooting, and they have big notes for you that you might want to incorporate, it'll be too late to incorporate them. So I think about 4 to 6 weeks before you shoot is like the optimum time to go in front of pre-thesis.
I mean, addressing something that you want to shoot ideally over the summer, at the end of the summer, and just go in during May, and is that what you have?
Yeah. Yeah, the last one is going to be in late April.
Okay.
We have a lot more than 4. I think we have like 6 pre-thesis reviews this semester, trying to get everybody in.
Okay.
But I think the last one is like
April.
second.
Do we need to sign up for that?
You do.
Yeah, you have to get in touch with them.
No, Alicia.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. Alicia sends out reminders of like when things are due, and the pre-thesis review dates are on the calendar. April 24th. Let's see if there's anything else. And May 8th. May 8th is the last pre-thesis review for the year. I will say, just on this note, that if you've done a treatment review to put a hold on equipment, and you don't have your pre-thesis review 1 month before you're due to take that equipment out, they will drop your hold. So make sure that you're thinking about that when you're planning your pre-thesis review. Do it a week before or something and stay safe, so that way you don't lose that thing that you held for a year.
And another thing I would just add about the pre-thesis thing, because I was on that committee, one of the things I think a lot of people think, and John's kind of, I think, giving you the feeling that this is not the way to think, and I agree with John. I was trying to express myself. Sorry, I really unraveled and went backwards. What I mean to say is that it really is a great way to sit down with some professionals, and John chooses people usually that make films to be on that committee, so that, it's really a great way to kind of have some people say, troubleshoot your movie, and say, have you thought about how you're going to, this rig? Have you thought about how you're going to work with children? Or and I think it's actually a really great, so that it can be very helpful. And that's how I always approach it. I always approach it, how can I help you shoot? And if I felt people were way off, you can sometimes tell in that committee if you just haven't thought about casting or how to work in a certain situation. So it's really valuable, I think. It's not just, passing it. It's like, asking people's opinion and, coming up with answers. So I would be prepared going in there. I would try to come up with your questions well and try to have answers to them yourself and get some feedback.
And another part of that committee is Bob Nixon's on that committee, and one of Bob's jobs in the department is he is the advisor, the production advisor for thesis films. So he will help you get ready to deal with risk management. Because if you're doing a thesis, you'll go through risk management, and Bob will help guide you through that process. Okay. Any questions on that so far? Treatment review, pre-thesis review. Once you pass pre-thesis review, then you're eligible to take out the rig. You're eligible to access the insurance. So you still have to go through risk management to actually get your certificates of insurance and all that. and you're eligible to, and you get your allotment check. Okay, so then you go out and you make a movie, and then you come back and you edit your movie, and you have, as a thesis student in good standing, you have access to all the editing labs. Cut here. And then you finish your film, or you get close to finishing your film. You either get close to finishing your film or finish your film, and then you're ready to graduate. So you have your degree on it, you make sure you have your 108 points, and then you set up a meeting with the thesis review committee. And this is the penultimate experience. What? That's what the ultimate experience is?
But I do have questions.
Okay, so then the thesis, now this is the thing about the thesis review committee. Again, that's a standing committee of faculty members. They meet only 3 times a year. They meet in September, December, and April. So those are the only times that you can graduate. September, December, and April. And what you do is you come to that committee. Now, who do they get in touch with when you're ready for that? This one you get in touch with Miranda. And you tell her, I'm ready to set up, I'm ready to graduate.
Thesis review.
Ready to graduate. Thesis review. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to present your, you have to give us copies of your film so that the committee can read. And it's not like evaluations. You give us copies, we watch it in advance before your meeting. And we ask you to do some writing, self-critique, a write-up about the project, a critique of the program that we don't read until after the meeting. But it's all helpful stuff. It's really good stuff. So we ask you to do all that, and then you meet with the committee. You come in, you show us the film, you turn in your paperwork, you tell you how great you are, and then you graduate. That's it.
Walking the bars. All you
Um,
had to do was make a movie.
yeah.
That's amazing.
So the thesis, again, can be a short, or it can be a feature, or it could be a pilot to a TV show, or it could be we've graduated people with webisodes. Narrative is okay, doc is okay. Reality TV still is not okay. Journalism is not okay. Animation's okay. Yeah, even though we don't teach it, we've graduated people with animation. As long as it's a movie, it's a story. So those are the requirements. And then you meet with the committee and you graduate. If everybody who graduates, so we only have commencement and salute once a year, and that happens in May. So if you graduate in September, December, or April, you walk in May. You just walk once a year. All right. Question? Yes.
The paperwork deadlines for the thesis review committee, I know are like months.
So let's say, yeah, that's a great question. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that May 1st is the date of thesis review. It's not their own calendar, but if that's the date for the time, the appointment that you have to meet with the thesis review committee, your paperwork will be due on April 1st. A month before you meet with the thesis review committee. And that's if you're graduating as a director. If you're graduating as an editor, as a producer, or as a cinematographer, your materials are also due 1 month before you meet with the thesis review committee. But you should be meeting with the area head at least 1 month, 2 months before you meet with the thesis review committee. So that way you have time to work on your docket, make sure that it's up to snuff, that you're going to graduate as a DP or an editor or as a producer. There is back and forth that goes on between the area head and those people who are graduating on those tracks, just because it can be there is some gray area, it can be a little bit unclear, and they want to make sure that they're helping you to present as complete and as productive a docket as possible. Why put together a reel or production packet or whatever if it's not going to be helpful to you, basically.
And the September review paperwork, you do August 1st or in May?
It's a 1 month. No. That because I'm here all the
Yeah, exactly. Your paperwork will be due all the time, 1 month before you meet with the thesis review committee. Cool. But
It's
you
not pre-thesis review, right?
pre-thesis review is different. Yeah, pre-thesis review happens this semester about 6 times a semester, and like John said, it's schedule, budget, things like that. It's less. Thank you. Less intensive in terms of like what you're writing. You're not preparing anything. Obviously, you haven't shot anything yet. So,
Can we see the people?
yeah, it's all on Drive. Yeah, the pre-thesis review documents, which is the pre-production report, and a budget form, tax compliance form if you're an international student. That's all on Drive in the thesis folder. It's labeled PTR. The matriculation form, we'll get to that, is there as well, and the thesis review information, like the timeline, what you should be doing, what you should be thinking about, as well as the cover sheet application form is there. Questions about forms and timelines, bureaucracy, yes.
For the pre-thesis review for a doc, what do you submit instead of a script?
You would present a pick, like basically the idea of the thing, and anything you have as far as a schedule or you have a schedule and a budget, even though it looks different than what you do for a narrative, and you don't have a script, but you certainly have your characters, your locations, your scenes, your time frame, all that. Exactly. Yeah. And the best you can do with the budget and the timeline. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is matriculation and equivalency, and then we'll talk about fun stuff because we just have to. Oh sure.
My Alex was saying that the pre-thesis review committee actually will throw out these questions. And what if, and raise some things that you have not thought about?
Yep.
That, they would suggest you to go back and do it. Do we get a second chance to meet again with you guys?
If you want to, you can have you can meet with them again.
Right. So that you were saying it's not green light, sort of a committee whereby like, oh, I don't think you're ready to shoot yet, so but you suggest all these things and you can go ahead anyway.
Yes, and there's kind of a double answer to that. You can, and it has happened many times. The student will go through, and it's like by the end of that meeting, you realize you're not really ready, and you go back to the drawing board, and you come back to the committee in a month or 2 months, and then it's your faculty. So it might be that you come out of that meeting and you're approved and everything, but you want to continue working with somebody on that in your faculty on your script or your budget or whatever. So there's kind of a formal you might come back, and there's an informal that you might just want to touch base again with some faculty members and keep working on it.
But would you recommend that, let's say, between the time you had your pre-thesis review and then maybe like more than 6 months before you can actually start shooting because you spend all that time trying to raise money, and that you would recommend that maybe meeting the faculty again because so much time has left?
Yeah, for me, I would say don't do your pre-thesis review until you're almost ready to shoot, like 6 weeks before, not 6 months before. Because if you do it 6 months before and then you're out raising money, you're rewriting, it's gonna be a little bit different project, or probably a very different project.
But if something happened, if you did it and you were prepared to shoot, and something happened, like you lost funding or something, you could go back to the pre-thesis review committee.
Yeah, and sometimes people go back because things happen and they come back and they go, I'm doing a different project. And they'll come back to pre-thesis with a different project. That has happened.
So a question about that is, so I've done a pre-thesis review. So I'm not entirely sure that I will continue with that project. I may end up doing a different project. Is it simply recommended that I could meet with the pre-thesis review?
Yeah, you don't have
or
to.
is
You're already an approved thesis student.
Yes.
But if you have a different project, I think it'd be in your best interest to go back and get that one signed off on.
Okay.
And get the feedback.
Cool.
I think it's good. It's good protection for you.
Sure.
To have that one, just to have that one approved and everybody know what you're doing. Because you're still going to have to go through this management.
Yeah,
You
that
better-
was kind of
if
my
everybody knows what you're doing.
second question, is just because it's been a couple of years now since I've made a film within the department. Is there a new kind of timeline with how risk management is dealt with? Like, is there something? Because when I was making a film, it was make sure you're applying for insurance for a location at least, I don't know, it was 5 or 6 days before you need it. Is there a whole new timeline involved, or is it still about the same?
I
Is
think
it
it's still about the same,
ballpark
but you
about
should
the
be
same?
in touch with Bob about that.
Okay.
Just keep communicating the lines of communication open, so you don't get surprised by something. It's usually that for simple stuff. If there's red flag issues, if you're doing any stunts or anything like that, it's a longer time frame and all that stuff. So you just need to be on top of that. Yeah. And there's a difference. All the transpo stuff is different now, so yeah, you should get back in touch with
And I recommend that before you do a pre-thesis review, you just check out on the wiki, not the drive, but I'll put a link. The risk management website, you'll see, and once you have your NYU ID back, you'll be able to see what they want, and that way you can go to your pre-thesis review kind of knowing what might come up in a risk management situation, and you can use that time to talk that through with Bob and really move your project forward. And that way, as soon as that meeting is over, as soon as you get approval saying this is a thesis level project, you can put your risk management materials together and get it through, and you'll have plenty of time, I would think, to make sure that they have all the time to turn everything around. And that way, you just have a productive conversation and you expedite the whole process.
I have a question coming in over text.
Oh. Does everybody who's streaming, do they know that
The
the
reaction
yeah.
was great.
I
That
told
they
her
should-
to ask questions.
The reaction
do
was
they know?
great.
Oh, text
It's like, ooh.
Katrina.
What?
Give her number out there. The reaction was great. It was like radio.
So the question is, if we do a thesis review in April and then walk in May, do we continue to have access to the editing facilities through the summer?
Correct. This is an excellent
The
question.
lightning.
Excellent.
I got my outside.
The way we do it is whenever you go to thesis review, now you have graduated, and that means you no longer have access to equipment or insurance. Unless you need to do a pickup or a reshoot or something like that, we can make arrangements. But once you graduate, you can't go and shoot another movie with the gear, but you can continue to edit, and you get a no questions asked 1 semester grace period in post-production. So if you graduate in April, you can continue to cut through the summer when they're open. Everybody knows that NYU, that production and post-production is closed basically the whole month of August. Just note that, because it comes up every year, people want to shoot or cut in August, and they just shut down for 4 weeks, and there is nothing we can do about that. But if you graduate in April, you can continue cutting in the summer until they close, and then you have the whole fall semester with full access to all the editing labs until the next semester starts in January. Okay, so you have you have a 1 semester grace period, and then if you still need to get into a cutting room to do an output or a color corrector or something like that, you can't sit there and keep editing. But if you need to do some stuff, we'll work with you. We'll get you through the process. But you have 1 full semester. So if you graduate in December, then you can use the editing room all through the spring semester and the summer until the fall semester starts. Okay.
And you don't have to pay any.
You don't have to pay
fees.
anything. No,
Okay.
that's just a part of the deal.
And does that apply to Tubman also, because they shut down in December? So if I graduate in May, would I be able Tubman has edit suites, it's the 35 West 4th.
It's a totally different thing. What they want is for you to swipe your card. Your card won't work.
Yeah,
Downstairs, you just show your card.
Got it.
So what you
So
do
only
is you
for
talk
Tish.
to a student. Side
You can
hustle.
do that.
It's a little side hustle.
You can do that. Yeah.
Holla.
Oh my
Did you
God.
say?
I'll call you.
Just bring Julius.
Be cool with the
Oh, like-
first years.
Matriculation. You have 5 years by state law. You have 5 years from the time you started the program to complete the degree. Okay? 5 years.
By State law.
State law?
Yeah.
Any questions?
Ready?
A lot of-
You guys are ready?
Wait, what was the state law?
State law, 5 years.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. Like I said, there are ways around that. No, I'm just
You know, first year.
Find a guy.
Okay, but here's the thing. So you have 5 years. So you finish your 3 years of classes, and then you have the 4 semesters or 2 years, depending on how you're counting, to finish the degree. But let's say you get to the end of that, and you're matriculating all the way through, probably. You should be matriculating all the way through, maintaining your student status and all that, especially if you're an international student, so you keep your visa.
Or if you want health insurance, or if you don't want to pay your loans, or if you want to use anything at the university. Yeah. Mostly the health insurance. You want to go to the doctor? Stay
First year
matriculated.
can't help you.
Stay out of acupuncture. Well, there are actually some acupuncture specialists.
Okay, so let's say that you get to the end of your 5th year and you haven't graduated.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I got the spot.
Well, we continue, but
Okay.
I have a question. about
You're like,
this.
I've never heard this before.
No.
Okay. So this is the thing, is like, we want you to graduate, and we understand that sometimes, even though when you're filling out that matriculation form and your equivalency and you're checking the box to say you are working full-time on your thesis or half-time on your thesis, that even after 2 years of working full-time on your thesis, you may not have finished that thesis. It happens. So then what you need to do is we want you to graduate, so you need to get an extension so that you can graduate. So what we're allowed to do is if you get to the end of that 5th year and you haven't graduated yet, we can get you an extension of matriculation for a semester so that you can either shoot your film or graduate. Okay? Those are the only things we can get you an extension for. You're either going to shoot your film that semester or you're going to participate in the thesis review and graduate. We cannot give you an extension to write or to raise funds or to develop or anything like that. Only if you're actually shooting that semester or actually participating in the thesis review and graduating. Then you write a letter to the chair and you say, I want to shoot, I'm 7th year, but I'm ready to shoot my film this term. And I would like an extension of a semester. And if I'm, when I'm chair, I write back to you and I tell you what the rules are. It's a little bit like a thing you hit the I agree button. Terms of agreement. And then we put that through but you have to do it. You can't, if you don't, like if you say you're going to shoot and you agree to that, and then that semester goes and you don't shoot, you've lost your chance to shoot. You can't use the equipment because you can't do it again. Or if you say I'm going to graduate and you get to the end of that semester and you don't graduate, then you're really screwed. So you can't, and no one's ever done that. I don't think anyone's ever done that. Or close to never done that.
Very close to never done that.
Very close to never done that.
But John, what if I saved all of my matriculation semesters for like later on down the road?
You can't save them.
What are you talking about?
You can't store them. The clock doesn't stop. So once you finish the 3rd year, even if you just disappear and you're not actually matriculating, the clock is running. And the thing about NYU is, and I'll just tell you this as a disclaimer, is that if you have a break of matriculation, so say you get to the end of the 3rd year and you just don't bother. You're not paying matriculation fee, you lose your student status, you're just on your own. You come back in the 5th year or the 6th year and you say, okay, I'm ready to graduate, and you want to come back into the system. NYU, the policy of NYU is that if you want to come back, you have to pay all your back matriculation fees. Now, I've never seen them actually enforce that, and I think it's just because they just don't think of it. But they could do that. They could do that. That is the policy. But I've never seen it happen. But it is the policy. So be careful about taking a break and thinking that you're saving money because they could come back and charge you.
Okay, so if I'm gonna shoot in my 6th year in the fall, and I write to the chair and I get the extension, what then happens to everybody? Do I have to write a second one for my semester cutting, or do I just say, I'm done?
You're so clever. Yes, because Because what I just said was that I can give you an extension to either shoot or to graduate, which means you could get 2 semesters.
Okay, got it.
So
So
you
2
get one to
months.
shoot, and you get one to edit and graduate.
Would I have to write you in
And you
both
do
of
it,
those
you can
different
only do it
units?
1 semester at a time.
And do you have a preferred month in which you would write that letter to?
Well, I don't. But this is the thing, and there'll be a new chair next year, and they'll have different policy or the same policy. But I don't like to make those approvals too far in advance because once I make that approval and you're approved, if your life changes and you realize you're not actually going to shoot, like let's say you're asking me right now to approve you for the fall, I would say wait. Wait till the middle of the summer. There's no need for you to get that approval right now and lock that in. I would say wait till the middle of the summer or late in the summer, and then when you know for sure that you're going to shoot in the fall, then matriculate.
In this specific year, if we did that wait until the summer thing, would you be the person?
I'm going to be the chair until August 31st.
Okay.
So that'll still be my responsibility until August 31st.
So this is where I have one more question, and I think I've asked it before, but I just want to ask it again. So in that situation, you've got to write you a letter to start this whole thing. Once you start it, you can't stop it. That's it.
No.
Right? No. Like for this extension semester.
Yeah, but you can stop. Like if I write back to you and I say, "Here's the rules," you can go, "Oh yeah, no, that's not for me."
No, I'm sorry. What I mean
Okay.
is, once as a thesis student, once I'm now matriculating in that
Oh,
extension.
yeah, now you got.
That's what I mean. So, because kind of one of the things that is like stressed me about trying to figure out when I'm going to do this is that, to my knowledge, I can't reserve dates of equipment unless I'm a matriculating student.
Correct.
Right. So I have to. I don't. And maybe this will be less of a stress once I have access to the wiki.
Yeah.
If the wiki has that calendar, like in terms of okay, I'm gonna.
When do you want to shoot?
Well,
Let's just give me a.
well, hypothetically, like say, like I don't know what is the month of April.
Okay. So if you want to shoot in the spring semester, then matriculation opens up in November for you. So there's time. It's not like from January to April. So you could ask for an extension in October, and we could get you in the system as soon as registration opens in November, and you've got like 6 months to figure that out, to get your dates. So it's not so much that you have to be matriculated and then get your dates in the same exact semester. You have about half a year from the time that you're matriculated. It's just the way that the university works in terms of registration. You have to register for matriculation, and so that November and December is like a promise to the university and to the department that you're going to be here in the spring shooting the film that you said you were going to shoot. So I don't know if that
But you
helps.
want to shoot this coming April.
Well, I would love to. I don't know if the equipment is
You
available. I'm not
gotta ask
100% sure that I'll be ready, but
Well,
I
this
don't
is what I would do.
understand.
This is what I would do. This is my advice to you. Is just walk over to the production office and ask them what the schedule looks like in April. And if it's already
You can also go online. They have a calendar, so you
Yeah.
see like up to date.
then just take a look at it. And if it's already all booked up, then you go, well, it's not going to be possible probably
Yeah.
unless somebody drops out.
Okay. But I'm curious about what you're saying. Like, if I announce that I'm going to be matriculating in the spring semester, I can actually be matriculating in the fall semester for November, December. I don't quite understand what you were saying.
I'm just saying that you have more time than just the semester in which you intend to shoot because registration happens so much earlier than the semester actually begins. So, if for registration for your matriculation, which is
But
what
if he's going to matriculate for the spring semester.
yeah, that's already this.
But I mean,
could've
just
done that 2 months ago.
hypothetically. Okay, so
But
that's
for everybody else around the table, like think about that. Like
yeah.
you have that extra time. But
Okay, I did not know that. Okay.
it's 2 months, but it's still 2 months.
Yeah, totally.
It gets more complicated when you're past the 5th year.
Yeah.
Is coming back, and you do have to rush a little bit more. But if something didn't come up like this April, and let's say that April you really need it for whatever reason, that would be your plan, is to make sure that in October of next year,
Mhm.
you're really on it and get registered as soon as possible, so that way you have all the access that
So
everybody
it would
else
be
has.
like in October, I would be registering to matriculate in the spring.
Exactly.
And starting in November, now all of a sudden I have.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because if you just need to be matriculated to get that process, if they need to see that you're in the system for the spring, you will be as soon as registration opens, and that gives you a little bit of head start.
Cool. Thank you.
So if I shoot in the summer and I need to matriculate so I can edit in the fall, do I have to graduate that semester?
Wait, what year are you again?
5th year.
Oh no, you're good.
You could extend a second semester to edit
You
in the
could
spring.
still be shooting in the
No,
fall.
you can only extend one semester.
Oh, after you've shot. Got it. Okay.
But
But you might be saying, I wanna.
Once you shoot, you have one semester left. So if you shoot in the fall, you can stay through the spring. But if you shoot in the summer, you can stay through the fall.
for your editing and graduating, you have to graduate in the same semester in which you edit, correct? Because you can't give an extension just for editing.
It's an edit and
Right.
graduate. Okay. What else? Okay. Pop quiz. Ben, pop quiz. How many semesters do you get to matriculate after the 5th year?
1.
To do what?
To shoot your thesis. And it doesn't have to be the semester that follows your 5th year. You can pick it up at some later point, but you have to write you an email, and you have to. Yeah, you have to agree to the terms, conditions.
That really worked!
Yeah, I'm never gonna forget that. And yeah, that's what I got from it.
Excellent.
Yeah, no, this
You're very
answered
by
a
the
lot
book.
of
Very by the book.
questions. Yeah,
Were you taking notes back there?
a couple, yeah, actually.
All right, what other questions do you have? And then, Alex, I want you to talk about like all the other stuff, like
Talk about
thesis Thursdays. Hi, Annie.
Hi, thank you.
Good luck next week.
Other questions?
Any other questions about this stuff, the hardcore tech stuff? All right, Alex, all yours.
So, building on what I said before, really, if we ideally want to do this bi-monthly, this thesis Thursday.
Oh, can I?
Yeah.
We just got another one on text.
Oh,
Okay.
Sorry.
Another one over the wire.
Daily double.
Okay. Question on this is.
Oh, God.
How to use this?
Wait, just
Who's it from?
Nancy.
Nancy.
Okay.
They'll like
Here we go. Okay.
the math.
As a 6th year, what if we want to do the pre-thesis in May but shoot in September? Should we do the pre-thesis without matriculating and matriculate when we shoot in September?
Really good question. Miranda?
That's beyond.
It entirely depends on when
John.
it's registered.
Miranda, I think it's beyond John. I think Miranda has to get this.
This is the special, this is
I
the
want
actual.
Miranda
This is,
Bermuda Triangle.
you know what, honestly, here's what I think, okay. Welcome to the finagling.
Yeah, you have to finagle that one.
So since the
That's when we call in Julius.
Yeah. Since
Bring
the
it down.
university registration opens in April, could a 6-year student therefore properly register in April and be registered for matriculation for the last pre-thesis review? And that registration is a promise that they are going to be.
Yeah, that's what we've done in the past, Nancy, is what we've done is, if you're in that situation and you're gonna be matriculating in the fall semester to graduate, we want you to start making the move toward that and commit to it, or in the spring semester, so that once you're in the system, even though you're not actually matriculating in the spring semester, you're kind of in the system and in process for the fall, and that guarantees us, and we make the exception, and we let you actually participate in the review in the spring, even though you're not actually on the books yet. Right? Okay? I hope that answers it. If it doesn't, text Katrina.
Is there another one?
No, they're gonna wait until you're
Just
4 more
start.
sentences.
All right. All right.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh my god, this works so well.
We gotta cut that out.
Great. I'll just keep interrupting. So now, okay. Next one.
Okay, that suddenly got confusing again.
Yeah.
Oh, Nancy says thank you.
Okay.
If you graduate, there's a 1 semester grace period after to continue editing after you walked. Correct?
No, after you graduate, not after you walk. So you may graduate in September,
Uh-huh.
but you don't walk till May. But you graduate in September so you can use the editing rooms all through that fall semester.
Okay.
That's your grace period.
But if you graduate in the spring and you walk
You
in the
graduate
spring,
in April and you walk in May,
Uh-huh.
you can use the cutting room all through the summer and the fall
in the
semester.
fall.
Walking is strictly ceremonial.
Okay.
It doesn't mean anything.
It is the
for time.
ultimate experience.
It really doesn't.
Because I know that was just, I left that out there for a long time. What is the ultimate experience? But
Okay.
it is. But it is ceremonial.
It means.
I think we're good.
Okay. Alex.
So where was I? Bi-monthly. Yeah, no, Istanbul. We're all going to Istanbul on Thursday. No, we're going to do it bi-monthly. And so that basically, ideally bi-monthly. So we're going to try to reserve 10/27. We try to work that out. Right? You don't have to talk, but it's really bad. That was another thing that happened in the fall. We had no space to meet. But you know, I can talk about that some point. Maybe it may not be 10/27. Hopefully, it's a place we can screen and it's big enough for.
006 or 017.
Let's have to figure it out, and we'll deal with the. That's one of the great things about the reps. They help me work this all out. All right, Katrina. We got to find out a room. They may have to move around.
Let's just go
Hopefully,
to
it's
your apartment.
bi-monthly.
We'll just go hang out. We'll crash your place.
Yeah, there you go. That's not.
Um,
That's just not gonna happen. But you know, but we'll go to John's because John is very. This is his last year's chair, and John, come on.
Lots of Brooklyn.
But so basically it's ideally bi-monthly, but it may slip. But we try to get guests and we try to. Are there any questions about Thesis Thursday? Is it, if I made that kind of clear as to what it's for? Any questions? Anybody has any questions? I mean, we have guests. Sam Rockwell. Yeah, Sam Rockwell came and he was amazing. I mean, I knew Sam could hardly put 2 words together, and now he's like. His rap was really pretty good, and not only good, it was really informative because he does such a broad spectrum of films. So I get people who can talk about. Sometimes we get like Jonathan Gray, for instance, came as a lawyer, and he's actually got his fingers in every pie and every independent film that's been made. But every year he has like 12 films at Sundance. So the guy's very, very connected. He takes a wide range of questions. So sometimes we do that, but we try to shake that up with something creative too. So it's not just kind of like just talking about legal. So we always try to keep something going. But really, the thing I'm seeing more and more is that I want to help you guys graduate. I really see this Thesis Thursday thing as like you were just mentioning we don't know each other, but you're in a quandary. Should I do my short? Should I do my feature? I would just come and bring those questions to, and we can talk it out. And also, if you have something you want to read, if you have something you'd like to pitch, it's not a bad idea either. I just want to help create a forum to help you guys, either at any stage. If you want to talk about coming up right before the pre-thesis committee, and you want to know whether your project's tight enough, or something, you can talk about that. So I can't meet individually with every thesis student, but we can do these Thesis Thursdays, and I really want them to be productive. I see a need for it. Like I'm doing a film now that I might self-distribute, or I might work with some small distributors on. That kind of question is really interesting. If I was a young filmmaker, I'd love to know how you get your film out there if you don't get Miramax buying it, and maybe there's a way to work together. And the other thing John mentions, and being new to NYU still a little bit, maybe another year, I can say that. One of the things I'm really, really impressed with, and I didn't go to film school, but I'm really jealous of film students, is that you guys have a community. It's like John talks about, 7 people show up to Sundance who all have films or worked on each other's films, and they help each other. It's really, and I think Thesis Thursday is the beginning of kind of solidifying that community after the 3 years. So, people from different years getting together, maybe even getting some alum to come in and talk about their stuff. But I really think it's a great, that is an invaluable experience to me, is helping each other out. Writing workshops, just what you went through, how you can help someone else go, avoid the pitfalls. I think that's what it's really about, is building community. And then I would just add, well, you've already got the community, but taking advantage of the community and keeping it together is what I'm saying. John, has organized. Well, actually, you didn't start it, but John's been kind of running the purple list, and I was actually wondering. I actually have a question for you. When you leave as chair, are you going to continue kind of overseeing the purple list?
I think so.
I mean, because I think that's you.
Brian
Could,
says, yeah.
yeah, I mean, John's been so
Yeah, I think so.
integral. I mean, it's such you're eligible for it. It's a great thing. I think it's a great way to kind of filter, even if your film doesn't get made. I mean, it's a great way to take it through the industry. We come up with great people to read your scripts. You get how many people? Three people from the outside read it?
3 reads,
Yeah, 3 reads from everything from agents to actors to I think it's a great thing, and they get notes. Just that unto itself, I think is worth it to try to get deal with the purple list. And you need a faculty member to sponsor your script, so you should think of a faculty member if you want to do that, to read it and sponsor it for the purple list.
In the first 2 years of the purple list, we had 6 projects. 1 year, 7 projects. The others, 13 total. And of those 13 total, I think 9 didn't shot.
A lot of interest.
Yeah, it's great.
Yes.
I got another question dribbling in.
Amazing. You're an excellent rep.
Okay, so the question is, can you submit a project as a thesis if it hasn't been through thesis review?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but
Wait, no one wants me to talk about the fun stuff, John.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
want to
they're
get
really
that dirty,
into this.
It's like 20 minutes into the fun stuff, and they go back to what happens if my mother wants to graduate.
Being
It's a
sad
good question.
about what
This is the thing, is that if you have, and this has been kind of a tricky thing that the faculty has been working very hard with the administration on, and I think we finally have something that's satisfied everybody. If you've made a film outside of the NYU system, you can, if we get all this approved, you can bring that film to the thesis review as an example of your work as a director, and we'll graduate you that way. It's a technicality, but it's the way that we're able to do that.
the difference is product and intellectual property, right? So if you go through NYU, the product the product being the film, obviously, can be viewed as your thesis. If you didn't go through NYU, it's the intellectual property, it's your mastery that is looked at and not the product. It's words.
There's a lot of words.
Yeah, well, you better hope that works out. So.
But this is a funny thing. What you were saying about having Jonathan Gray come in, don't poo-poo that. I mean, these guys need legal advice.
Yeah. No, and he's smart. I mean, I need legal advice. I need just to get out of this room. I need legal advice. No, I mean, he's great, and he's really, because independent filmmaking is really kind of there's so many. NYU's one thing with risk management, but actually making a film and kind of dealing with copyrights and all these kind of negotiating deals. There's a lot of gray areas. I can save you a lot of grief if I'm in the room because I've been through just about everything you wouldn't want to go through. But Jonathan knows it all. He's seen it all. And it's funny because I think that that's one of the things in film school that's hard to learn. I'll bring in people like that. So that's the other thing. Is I would Katrina will and Charles is involved here. Throw your suggestions to her because we can't adjust every single issue that each person has. But if there's a feeling, if people want to have like a Jonathan Gray or a lawyer or someone who deals with music rights or anything like that, and if we get enough of a vote on that, we'll do that. If it's one person, maybe not, but 2 or 3 people. So please send your suggestions for.
And you guys ever do table reads?
We do them. We've done them. Yeah, for sure. We've screened footage. We've done everything. I sometimes don't even come because it's so much for the students. It's great because the students want to do it anyway. And if I can't make it, they'll do it without me. And Mick has shown up. Barbara Schock has done her writing workshop, which I think she has a really she has like an hour-and-a-half presentation. I think that really the students loved it. And if you've seen it once, you maybe don't want to do it again. But people who haven't done it, I think it's really invaluable. So there's great stuff like that. So put your 2 cents in. Send. Would you give them everyone your email or?
Well, do we have an updated thesis
We
student
do. We
list?
have all of that stuff. And
So I can
Charles
just send
Charles
out
has
a
been doing
note
it.
saying, send me your stuff for the retreat, and also.
I'm gonna send you the email now that I sent to Charles about the class report.
And you and I and Charles will get together separately too, and just organize the whole thing too. But we've been doing it for a little bit, so we'll keep it going.
Do you guys have any?
When's the first one? Is the first one scheduled?
I'm sorry, what?
The first.
No, we haven't scheduled it yet. We'll schedule it soon.
So are we thinking like February?
Yeah, we'll do it soon. We'll do it pretty soon.
February, because today's the 27th.
Yeah, but not Valentine's.
Alright, you got some plans?
I kind of take the whole week out.
Your middle name should be Wiggle Room.
Okay.
Little nooks and crannies.
Any before we break up, any suggestions or questions or ideas for Alex about Thesis Thursday or any of this
Yeah,
stuff?
we'd be good to get a vibe as to how you think it might be useful for you.
So
I was just,
Yeah.
I'm, just taking a point about how you think that what's good about the MOU community is that we have a community. And it's just like popped in my mind about the fact that perhaps we can also, as the students and those who have graduated, can also play a part in it by like, you remember how like when we first came to NYU, you have some of these third years who would bring us around and, introduce everything. And I was just thinking whether you could like do some kind of mentoring, pair up with like some who have graduated. Because I found one of the most informative sessions that we had, 2 semesters ago was it last semester got Shaka and all were talking about the experience, trying to get the film out. This is very relevant to us. So, it's kind of like that we could be paired up with somebody that's really gone through the whole, sort of getting your film
I
out.
would think pairing up might be tough, but honestly, I think if they came in, these guys are so wanting to help. Anyone who's graduated here, I've really been impressed by it. They want to help. Like Carolini is a producing graduate. These are people, and she's now involved in the Sundance Lab. These are people who would definitely
Yeah, like
respond.
a pen house system whereby you might have some day-to-day questions, that you can shoot off and ask.
Yeah.
Like for example, I'll be happy to share the knowledge that that I've gone through,
Yeah.
and the process and stuff like that, instead of just bothering the professors, questions.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a great idea, and I think that's why we can have the Thesis Thursdays, get people in, and then people exchange information and continue it outside. I just think that this idea of community is really important to take advantage of, and you'll see later in life how incredibly valuable that is. I mean, we all get it through our work, but to actually do it in a way that where a paycheck isn't connected to it, and someone hiring and firing you isn't connected to it, someone's there just to kind of offer advice just because they went to school with you and you had a camaraderie with them. I think that's really fantastic, and it should really be. So many talented people come out of this program. It's a great thing. You had a question.
So there was no Thesis Thursdays last semester?
No, there weren't.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually we really tried. We tried about 5 or 6 times. Charles and I were like, we'd almost get one, and then I'd have to leave town, or he would have to leave town, or we couldn't get a room. We wrote Miranda a bunch of times. We almost had a room, and then a room. What was it? An aesthetics class kept screwing us up. We were on Thursday nights exactly at the wrong time.
Yeah, 10:27 is not really gonna, but you guys should just let
We'll
me
figure
know.
it out. Yeah, well, let's just look for another
There will be
space.
some space somewhere.
Yeah.
Is Thursday the designated day?
I mean, it rhymed with thesis. You really want to mess with that?
I mean, I feel that, but no, because I've recently gone through this process of trying to get
Yeah,
a room
yeah.
because I'm getting a room
Yeah,
this
yeah.
Friday.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Generally, and I know Fridays are rough,
We
but
could hold these
Fridays
Thursday
are
on
open.
another day.
So we'll call it
That's
this,
just
okay?
And you
People are
will all
gonna show
think
up in
they
the
said
wrong
that.
days.
Slaves to a name, I think.
Yeah.
The enemy of progress.
I don't want to get involved in that.
Yeah, right. It's like page
All right, what
6.
else? Anything else?
Uh,
All right, I just want to take a moment to congratulate Katrina on becoming the 4th year.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're already doing a phenomenal job.
Wait, there's another
It
text.
is.
Is there? Chloe and Josh say thanks.
All right.
Oh.
Good deal.
As does Ed.
From
Thank you for
being
being
like
our
a coward.
chair, John.
Are they big?
They moved to a house in
Right,
the
wait
middle
till
of fucking
next year.
nowhere.
When John's
Yeah,
gone,
I tried
it's
to
going to
do
be a
that.
mess.
It's
Yeah.
gonna
No,
be
this
mad.
is going to be a mess.
Josh is like, Mike, you have no idea.
Yeah,
I'm like, I think I have an idea. I know when I stayed in New York, it's like, Josh, don't worry.
Made me
Think about what you said. You said that he works out.
I'm really happy. That's a great idea.
You ready?
So just have
For our
educate.
Energy to
Yeah, so I have like my other ideas after.
I mean, no, but you're right.
It's better to have it right now.
Well, I'll put it even beyond
That, okay, so
In a way,
I tried to find
I know you're talking Molly, but
So I'm just supposed to write before today. I tried to maybe a week now.
Yeah. All right, we can.
It's kind of like,
I think that's a
sounds
great
large.
part.
I would like any Grammys or the Grammys.
Or like you
He's out here. It's like running the rap tours. He's running Toronto. Like, he's even that drug man.
I'm sorry, I really.
I like what he's got. He's not. I didn't. I knew. Jack, right? But he also, to me, he doesn't come out like I know how it happens. Like, he's one of those grassroots, so he's not a guy like the likes who just is like out of his ass, you know? Head on, Harlem. Yeah, might take some pieces out of the more cars.
Right, I'm like, I have this, I have that, but these are the things that I can't get. And I'll just pull right from that.
You want one slice.
That'll understand the access
Brad, you have.
Yeah.
You haven't heard back.
It usually takes like a day or two, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I'd like to sit down and have a cup of coffee. And I know you don't want to be involved, but I just love to talk. Because,
It's so cute.
I was totally missed all his emails.
But I'm, like I said, I'm happy to do whatever the new person is while we do it. You know, I have some knowledge.
I have some insights into it. I have this before, just, friendly talk. It's just like stuff that I'm a little, I think you'll probably share my concerns. Everything's gonna be fine, it's all good. But I think that there's some challenges. This person's gonna be challenged, and you can't be, and there, I wish we were more idle than I am. A little more connected to the daily work. And I think we're
Okay.
two drop that low, which has been there. There were two people who